It is Sunday, November the 19th, 2017. Wrestleview Live, number 25. We are ready to talk about the Survivor Series. I am Adam Martin, editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com. How is everybody doing out there tonight? Big, powerful weekend for professional wrestling. Going to be joined here momentarily by Mr. Doug Lackey, who has been absent from this program for a couple shows now. We've had some scheduling conflicts, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But like I said, big weekend. Obviously, if you are American, you know this is a big week coming up for us for a holiday for Thanksgiving. It's fun because I totally skipped out on the Survivor Series last year with the big Goldberg-Brock Lesnar thing, so I was kind of intrigued by this show tonight. So looking forward to talking about that. And we're even going to talk a little bit about NXT, which is a rarity for this podcast because I'll be honest, I'm not a weekly NXT viewer. If I do watch the specials, I dive in a little bit here and there, but I don't really watch from beginning to end. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Obviously, we're encouraging you to interact with us. We're on the front page of Wrestleview right now. We're live on YouTube, but we're also on Twitter at Wrestleview, or you can tweet us individually. We have our Twitter handles here on the screen. I am at Adam Wrestleview on the Twitter, and my guest this evening is at Doug Wrestleview on the Twitter. It's Doug Lackey. Douglas, what was the last? Was it? I can't remember the last show we talked. Was it No Mercy? Was the last show October? Maybe.
Oh no, it was after that. It wasn't TLC. Hell in a Cell.
Was it Hell in a Cell? Okay, there were so many shows. Yeah. They all blend together. So
yeah, I know it. No, it was Hell in the Cell. It was that egregiously, obnoxiously long pay-per-view that they did, where it didn't end until I think like quarter till midnight was when that show ended.
And we were. I can't remember who did this. I want to give them credit. I posted that we were going to be live tonight doing a podcast together again. He's like, oh, I can't wait till Adam and Doug come on here and complain about the length of the Survivor Series tonight. So that's it's a valid complaint if the show is not very good. And I thought the show was pretty good tonight. Like, obviously 6 hours, if you factor in the kickoff show, that's a lot. And I even tweeted out earlier, I'm like, what does a 2-hour kickoff show, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what that accomplishes. For this show. I don't know if it was they're doing a first, and actually there was a couple firsts this weekend, and I'll try to find the poll answer because I'm pretty sure it was overwhelmingly for subscribers, but for the first time since 2014 you could order the show on DirecTV. I'm actually going to look and see if I could find the poll question, and I was curious if anybody that is not a network subscriber and would maybe potentially want to check out the show tonight if they'd want to spend, it was like $55. And then I think there was also an option too for the network that you could get tonight's show, and through I think like Monday or something, you could get access to the network for like $25 if you just wanted to watch this show tonight. I don't know if that included the NXT special last night, if that was like a weekend deal with the Survivor Series, but
that was through DirecTV?
No, that was through the network. There was two offers. DirecTV just decided randomly to offer the show for the first time since 2014 because it's just I don't know if they decided to give up on their ban that they were doing. They were doing a ban. Here's the poll question. So yeah, 74% of people said they were a network subscriber, so they had no interest in buying the show on DirecTV. But they essentially it went down when the network came out that same year. They carried WrestleMania 30 that year, and then they decided to say, we're not gonna support this anymore if people can pay $10 a month and get pay-per-views. But so that popped up randomly, and then the network thing popped up too. I'm sorry if people are talking about this in the chat room. I should look at the chat room. Goosey said, why would you pay $25 for one night on the network when you can pay 10? I know that's kind of what a lot of people said. They were kind of confused, like, I don't know if they just they can't, you do math or something, or they just, I don't know. It was very.
Maybe they were just taking advantage of people who just don't really know about the network.
Yeah, that's possible. That's possible.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Which is funny because that's like all they do on television is plug how you can save money. So that was one poll. The other poll we did earlier tonight was, is 6 hours too much content? And I think it was one of those things where I asked the poll question and I'm like, well, I probably know the answer to this one, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of gauge because sometimes people don't care about having an overwhelming amount of content, especially with wrestling. Like they love like, oh yeah, more, please more. But you know, we tend to complain here and there, as people know on this show. I asked the question with the 2-hour kickoff show and the 4-hour event, is 6 too much? And 70% said yes, it's too much content. But I mean, I can 4 times a year, the Rumble, WrestleMania is more than 4 hours, but the Rumble, SummerSlam, and this, you know, it's not terrible. I can sit through that. It's pretty manageable, especially if they load the card up. And the main event felt very loaded. Tonight was Star Power. I don't know if I guess we'll start there. I felt kind of like okay when it was over. It was the crowd. I said the crowd goes mild in Houston, but I don't know if the reaction wasn't there or the reaction wasn't what they thought it was going to be. I don't know what your vibe was sitting at your place watching it, but it just kind of like all of a sudden it was Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon, and Triple H decided to give Kurt Angle a pedigree, and I get like he was, you know, fighting with Kurt on television, and they were having that struggle from the storyline perspective, but like I don't know if they expected the crowd to like lose their shit the way they did when a couple years ago when Triple H did that to Seth Rollins and helped Kevin Owens win the title, but it was like a silence and no reaction, and then that was that. It was just very okay, and Braun Strowman beating up Triple H afterwards.
I think the best. I'm trying to think of a good analogy for something like this, because you know that's kind of what I try to do when it comes to stuff like this. That let's just go ahead and, you know, take a step back and look at it and everything. Let's not make fun of the audience for not catching what was happening, because, you know, they don't get the camera angles or the commentary or anything like that. They have to sit there and try to piece together what's happening from whatever seat they're in at what angle they have to figure out what the heck is going on. Okay. And what happened was not just something as simple as him turning on Rollins and Owens gets a title. They're not fighting over a title here. All they're really fighting over is who has the best show, and will Kurt Angle still have a job? You know, it's nothing substantial or tangible to look at that the audience can grasp onto and understand what they're fighting for. I have a feeling that kind of storyline that they were going with Triple H turning on Angle and draping Shane over him, I think that went over some of the audience's head. Okay, and granted, if they were sitting at home and watching it and getting the commentary to back up what the hell was going on and all of the different angles to get all of the different facial expressions and stuff like that, they might not have been so quiet. Okay, but thank God for Braun Strowman to be there to bring everyone back in and get them out of their seat, you know, because while it's very difficult to understand what the heck Triple H was trying to do, he was just wanting to be the glory hog, but it's very simple to latch on to what Strowman was doing, and that's just beating the crap out of Triple H for making him look stupid. Okay.
Yeah, and I get that, and that makes total sense, and it just sometimes I feel like they book these things in a room, and they know kind of like, this will get a reaction, and this will be good. And I think sometimes they're not. I don't know if tonight was necessarily. I saw I got the usual chatter of like, it's 2017 and Triple H is winning matches, and but at the same time though, you made the point. This had nothing to do with a championship. This had nothing to do. This was a Raw versus SmackDown brawl essentially. So him out there winning, and it just doesn't
to win a fantasy pay-per-view score.
Yeah, like I'm not going to get too caught up in that. But your typical wrestling fan that wears, Bullet Club t-shirts and wants to too sweet you is probably not going to like this finish. And I get that. So if they're mad about it, that's fine. You don't have to, you don't have to love everything this company does. And that's kind of the cool thing is to, but there were elements of the match though I thought that went really well. And the star power aspect I thought was really cool. All the everyone kind of felt. It was surreal to see Bobby Roode in a WWE main event in 2017, Samoa Joe in a main event. I know Joe's been doing some stuff in the last year, but it was, I don't know, it was kind of, it was very interesting. There was, I want to give Mace credit for this. He just tweeted me, there was a video of Triple H after the show went off the air, and he was walking up the ramp, And yeah, I'm going to put it up here on the screen. And he took, oh, shit. Sorry, I blew everybody's ears out. I'll have to make sure I edit that one out of the audio. Sorry about that, everybody. Just probably blew everybody's ears out. Sorry. He's walking up the ramp, and he's just getting to the back, and you can see him have a little. Oops. Okay, let me get it back here again. It's very embarrassing. I'll play it here. Okay, so he's walking up the ramp, and Stephanie's with him, and there's the LED structure, and he plows right into it. And I don't know if that was a hey, we're gonna have some fun with the live audience thing, but it was a little weird there. But he just plows right into it. So oh well, that is what it is. So sorry about blowing everybody's ears out. I'll make sure to fix that in the future. Everyone's probably like, Jesus, they were there in their cubicles or whatever was going on right now. So yeah, I thought I can't sit here and tell you that I was like, yeah, that was an awesome, like, it didn't blow me away. It wasn't like, it was just there. I mean, it was Raw versus SmackDown. That was the plan. That was the goal. It seems like they have a direction to go. If anything, I was very uncomfortable watching Kurt Angle wrestle tonight. I tweeted that.
That's very uncomfortable to watch.
He looked like he had a 200-pound bag on his back. And I don't know if that is an intentional thing that he's doing right now in the ring where he's being very safe. And if that's the case, I totally get that. But I remember him like, I don't know, a year ago wrestling, and he wrestled at a really fast pace, and he wasn't doing it on nearly as big of a platform as he is right now. And I don't know if that's a WWE call to have him slow down, or if that's just kind of the state in which his body is in at the moment. So sounds like you were feeling the same.
I almost want to say it's a combination of the two. It would not shock me at all that WWE is saying, hey, Kurt, can we pump the brakes a little bit on stuff that you used to do? While at the same time, I bet you Kurt's looking at himself in the mirror and seeing his posture right now going, maybe I don't want to do that stuff. Maybe. That's my biggest problem with it all when it comes to Kurt is I have hard enough time watching him walk. Okay, let alone get into a ring and bandage up whatever appendage seems to be wrong, and also wear his old Captain America garb with a Raw t-shirt over it. I've got a difficult time watching that,
Yeah.
And to kind of even flash back before that, when he was at the TLC pay-per-view, being in that match, I had a difficult time watching that. Okay. I sincerely hope this is the last time we see him in a ring. Okay, I really do not want to see him doing this ever again.
People were hinting at Triple H Kurt Angle WrestleMania. Want to see that?
I don't know. I don't want to see that. God no.
But if you're gonna do that match though, wouldn't it be better to do that at a WrestleMania, or is it just flat out from a physicality standpoint that's a giant mistake?
For two reasons. Number one, the obvious one from a physicality standpoint. Okay, I don't want to see that. It's going to be incredibly awkward. You thought Triple H Sting was weird? Okay, that's going to be even more weird. Yeah. And on top of that, do you really want to see that match going the typical 10 to 15 minutes that we know it would? And there's not going to be any luxury that Triple H and Sting had at WrestleMania where all of the good old boys come out, okay, to pad the match. That ain't going to happen. Okay, so I don't see the positive in anything like that, nor do I encourage it. And if anyone is out there actually encouraging for there to be a Triple H Kurt Angle match, I hope you blow out your back and then you go ahead and try to do the physical activities that all of your friends would like you to do. Okay.
Yeah, I was okay with how he was used in December, at TLC. Usually TLC is in December. That's why I said that. But it was very there was weapons and tables, and there was you can maneuver around his shortcoming. But when he's in Sting and Triple H struggled, and I remember in that audience in California, in Santa Clara, they got pretty quiet until, like you said, the NWO guys came out and the DX guys came out, and yeah, what do I know there's been hints at Triple H and The Rock, which I also don't think would be that great, but it would probably be a lot better than Triple H and Kurt Angle. they've planted that Triple H rock seed for a while now, and I just don't think they're comfortable doing that, or there's just no interest on the Rock side. But
the only seed that I'll plant that I would definitely want to plant some shrubs around the tree as it grows would be Triple H Shane McMahon. Okay,
which is also possible.
That one looks like the strong possibility to me.
Yeah.
So
seems more practical after what they did tonight.
Yeah.
And Shane, man, he's still just out there bumping like a crazy man. I mean, even the little top rope thing he did with Joe, I was like, oof, like I don't know if I said this on the last podcast we did, or even when Kurt, I was talking about Mike Tedesco with this, watching Kurt Angle take bumps, and I was like, ooh, and I'm watching and someone did like the average age of the people in this match, and I think Randy Orton was the youngest person, which is kind of ridiculous to think about, but he actually was, because Bobby Roode's older than him. Shinsuke Nakamura.
I thought Finn was.
Is Finn the young? Okay, you're right. It's probably Finn. It's Finn. He's probably the youngest. Because let's check. Let's do our own Google math here.
Finn has got to be like early 30, maybe not even approaching 30.
Finn is 36.
Oh wow, I'm way off.
Randy Orton is 37. So Finn was the youngest. Okay.
Oh, by 1 year.
Yeah,
okay.
But not by much though. So yeah, well, Strowman's the youngest apparently. Oh no, they were looking at Team SmackDown. It was not all together.
Team
SmackDown.
Okay.
Yeah, because you got old guy John Cena, and I hate.
And I totally forgot Strowman is like 32 or 33.
He's 34.
34. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I'm getting closer.
So I meant to say I saw a total for Team SmackDown, and then you add in Kurt and Triple H, and so a lot of old guys out there tonight. But that's okay. I mean, it's. I remember years ago there was this discussion about how Vince wanted to completely get rid of the Survivor Series concept, but this is what this is. Like this. If anything, this was nostalgia weekend. We had the WarGames the night before, which was obviously nothing like the original WarGames, and then
not at all.
And we'll talk about that because Doug just took a big breath and exhaled. So we'll talk about that one for sure later. But
no, it was not.
It sure was not the same WarGames.
Nope.
But then that's tonight was definitely some nostalgia there. But I don't know if I had any real qualms or issues with the match. I think the only thing that made me uncomfortable was just kind of watching Kurt, because he's just doesn't seem to be able to completely straighten out his back, and he's always at a hunch, and that was just a little uncomfortable. But other than that, it was pretty good. It was fine. I mean,
that's the only thing that that threw me was I'm watching Kurt with his imaginary walker, walking around. But apart from that, no, it was a fun match. It was really, really interesting to see. And they kept playing off of how, this is a fantasy matchup. Oh, look who's in the ring now. You'd never expect to see this. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Okay. Who knows if you'll see those kind of matches. And you kind of put that in the back of your mind 1 or 2 years from now when they start shuffling around rosters, and you might be able to see that, So, I mean, that was kind of fun. Never would have thought that you would see, Samoa Joe and John Cena in the ring. And that's what they wanted to do a while back. Unfortunately, Joe was injured. You never thought you would see Shinsuke Nakamura and Finn Balor in the ring together. Mm-hmm. Okay. On WWE, no less.
Yeah, you're going to get some angry tweets. They fucking wrestled in Japan. God damn it, Doug. Don't you know your history? Yeah, you would have.
Oh, God damn it. You're on a wrestling site, Doug. What kind of wrestling commentator are you?
I made the mistake of, well, not really. I didn't think it was a mistake because I kind of knew what I was doing when I tweeted it. But I found out Saturday that I was going to have to cover the TakeOver special. Because
I was wondering why you were so active online. Okay.
So so if you see me actively tweeting during the TakeOver, it's more than likely I'm covering the show for Wrestleview. But so we usually have Alex Cars, who does our NXT recap, or Jason Amico cover NXT for us, because they've been watching far more NXT than I've ever watched. I did cover the TakeOver special 2 years ago when Samoa Joe debuted, and that was but that was back when they were in Full Sail for a lot of these shows before they took them on the road. But I did tweet out that I was going to be covering the show, and people were like, well, how can you do this? I mean, you don't even... I'm like, well, I read what happens just because I'm not actually... So if anything, I was kind of looking forward to seeing some people wrestle that I've kind of only read about from NXT live events in like Florida, like Lars Sullivan. I'd never seen him wrestle before. Yeah. It had been years since I'd seen Cassius Ohno, or whatever you want to call him, Chris Hero wrestle. So I don't know, we're diverting to NXT. We'll talk about that. But Yeah, I made the mistake of tweeting that out. So whenever how can you run a wrestling website? It's like, well, it's it's a niche product. It's not, the amount of people that were on Wrestleview tonight during Survivor Series and the amount of people that were on Wrestleview during TakeOver were night and day. So it's a different product, different offering.
I'm sorry, guys. This is the same big box retail store, and occasionally the day manager has to run the night shift.
Exactly.
So, what are you going to do?
Torquebite of the chat said, "You're on a wrestling site, Doug. It's your ethical responsibility to watch every second of every crappy wrestling show that happens anywhere in the world." That's kind of the expectation level. There was.
You think I've known that 9 years from now?
I know, no shit.
You think I'd know that by now?
I just don't. We don't have the time to consume that much wrestling.
I don't know what an Adam Cole is. I could give a shit what an Adam Cole was. All I know is I see this Adam Cole.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
Yeah,
okay.
And
why everyone is saying "baby" at the end, I don't get it. Okay, that's just me.
I like that. Although, yeah, that's his catchphrase. They say "baby" when he puts his hands up. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's fine. Knock yourself out. Just don't chastise me that I don't know that. I'm really sorry. Again, I work the day shift. Okay, I don't work the night shift.
I do a lot of highlight clips for our podcast, and I think you just made my job very easy for tomorrow morning with you just having that wonderful, wonderful baby. Exactly. I have no idea why they say baby, but
baby is.
Yeah, that's just what they say when he puts his hands up. What did you make? Would you think? I don't know what that means really. Would you make that? Would you make that, Doug? Would you think of?
I'd make a cheesecake out of it. Probably.
That's exactly why I thought it sounded stupid when I said it. What did you think of the women's traditional Survivor Series match, which came down to Asuka beating up everybody and getting the win?
I'm going to be honest. That was kind of fun. I kind of had some fun watching that, especially Nia Jax going all full tilt, ripping off the shirt. It's about me.
Scary.
Yeah. That sounded like we tapped into something just a little too real there for a second, But no, that was a fun little match. That was a nice little ditty that they did right there. And I'm glad it wasn't so. I'm glad they found the good norm. They found the line for what a women's match of this kind of, I don't want to call caliber, but with this kind of setting. In past Survivor Series with women's matches being 5-on-5, it lasts 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's just them do a finisher, pin, done. Stuff like that. Get it out of the way. Or it's going to be incredibly pretentious and last way longer than it should and try to tell a story of some kind when all we want is just women beating the crap out of each other. So they found the good norm in between the two, And, of course, the basis of the match was, yes, it was to prop up Asuka. And, of course, that's what we're going to do. Not everyone watches NXT. Hi, how you doing?
Well, there's
so
a lot of people.
you got to reintroduce her,
yeah.
Okay? And this is a perfect way to introduce her, okay? I guess my only thing is I am thoroughly interested in this whole Nia Jax drama of her wanting to be her and going AWOL. But I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to make my own story and program out of something that shouldn't be happening. But it just seems like there is something really going on behind the curtain, and it's not a boys in the back thing. This is like an internal thing to me when it comes to her just lashing out like that, and the look on her face when the camera got her, hard camera side. Wow, something was tapped. Okay, I woke up during that part.
There's a myriad of different responses. To this match, a lot of people like Jamel said he was very happy that Bayley got knocked out early. So not a lot of Bayley fans. Brian Farmer said that Nia Jax is the least dominant force in history. Is it? Did we get hit with a piracy thing? Someone said there was a copyright warning with the picture. Is it because I showed the Triple H thing? That's ridiculous. So I hope not. I really hope not.
No, you're not, because it's not going to dominate the entire podcast that we're doing here.
No, but it affects the replay on YouTube, unfortunately. So I hope not. But I thought they were talking.
Catch us on SoundCloud, guys.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of. But, oh, they're talking about the pay-per-view. I thought they were talking about our YouTube because we got flagged. I got flagged by YouTube very quickly. I'll mention this. The show I did with Trey 2 weeks ago, when I showed the footage of Chris Jericho talking about wrestling for New Japan, I played like maybe 10 or 15 seconds of the footage, and YouTube slapped me with a copyright like immediately, and I had to fill out all this information, said no, I'm not, and I couldn't, for monetization purposes. But yeah, so I just had a little nervous moment there when they're talking about it in the chat room. So sorry. There's a lot of different reactions to Nia Jax, I've noticed. There's people that think there's a lot of potential there, and then there's people that are underwhelmed by her. If anybody that I'm completely underwhelmed by right now in that women's division on Raw, it's Sasha Banks. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what they're accomplishing with her character right now. I mean, she's just someone back there doing stuff. I mean, if there's anybody in the new year, they need to just, and I don't know if it's from a merchandise standpoint that makes them nervous. Because, a lot of people like to put on Boss stuff and the Boss glasses and the Boss, brass knuckles, and they like to tweet at her.
What exactly is Boss time? I need Michael Cole to explain that to me. What exactly is Boss time?
I have no idea.
What the hell does that mean?
I have no idea. And I just
I mean, I was a boss. I mean, I never had my own time.
It was weird too because I liked the stuff Sasha did in NXT. I mean, the rare stuff I did see of her in NXT, I thought it was good. But that's because she was being an asshole and she had a character, and now she's the same character on the main roster without the interest level. And I don't know what
without being a heel.
Yeah, without being a heel, or
yeah, let's try being a heel,
or being mean to Bayley as a babyface, which is weird too because I don't know, but. I love Asuka. I love every second of Asuka. It took me a while to kind of, and I think when she made the debut, there were people very underwhelmed with her when she worked with Emma, who's also now been released from the company. Mm-hmm. But there was a lot of people. We didn't get a chance to talk about this. I don't know. Did you see Asuka's big debut at TLC a month or two ago or whenever it was?
Yes, I did. Yes.
A lot of people were underwhelmed by it, and I wasn't. But there was a lot of people that had a really high expectation for her. But the one thing that I said. And again, it's me just making the comparison because these are two talents coming out of Japan that had a big following, was how much more charismatic she was than Shinsuke Nakamura was.
Oh, way more.
Just her interactive level, her dancing, her facial expressions, her movement, the way she looks at the camera, the way she interacts with the crowd, like just everything was way better. And it's still there. And I saw it again tonight and I loved it. And they're obviously inching towards her and Alexa Bliss. I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger on that before the Rumble, or just kind of let her tear through people. But I don't know. I think they got something with her. A lot of people had issues with the way they've handled Bayley and Sasha Banks and other talents, but I think they got something there with Asuka. So,
well, they definitely have something, but I'm just one of those let's take it easy. Okay, let's take it easy. Let's keep saying how long her reign was at NXT. I'm not saying she should have a throwaway program with Alicia Fox. I'm just saying let's hold off before we throw a title on her and she never loses it.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
I mean, let's just hold off a little bit here. I'm not saying there's a character to build or anything like that. I'm just saying let's just hold on a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I like her too. I don't see any faults in her display and in her promise at all. It's just that right now, with how the roster is on Raw, I don't think now is the time for her to plow through the entire roster. Okay. If you want to try to prepare for anything, definitely give her a title match at WrestleMania. That's what I would say. I would not give it to her immediately, like, say, on Royal Rumble. I wouldn't give her a title match on that, nor any time before that. I would do a slow build to build her up to get to that title match and have it be against Alexa, okay? Have it be against a chicken shit heel, okay? Don't give me an honor match. Don't give me Sasha. Don't give me Bayley. Don't give me anyone else. It has to be Alexa, and don't want it to be Nia either, because we've already seen that. We already saw that match. Mm-hmm. So That's my only thing is I love a slow percolating brew to this stuff. Okay.
So it means something.
So it means something, so it's something substantial,
Kind of like why I thought AJ's win over Jinder meant something, because Jinder did such a good job as the asshole heel champion for many, many months, so that when all of a sudden he loses it, it's like, oh, this actually, I mean, everyone was so focused on hating Jinder, a lot of the internet was, but I thought that, well, that made it mean a lot more than that he, because he did a good job as champion, but, that's an unpopular opinion, Douglas. I badly want to talk about, speaking of AJ, Brock and AJ Styles. I was very intrigued before the match even started because they made the change a couple weeks ago. It was supposed to be Brock Lesnar and Jinder Mahal tonight, and I think it's safe to say probably they knew that one wasn't going to go very well, because that's...
Well, of course not. No, of course not. It was booked. It was in the tea leaves. It was booked like this.
It was booked like this, and it was... That's just not a... I mean, maybe they could have surprised us. We can't for sure 100% say that match would have kind of sucked, but knowing how Jinder wrestles and how Brock wrestles, it would have been a lot of the... Not that the offense is similar, but the pacing would have been very similar.
It would have been bad.
Yeah, it could have been bad.
It would have been bad.
I mean, we don't know for sure, but educated guess, yes, it probably would have been bad.
It would have been bad. Yes, it would have been fun to see Brock toss around the Singh brothers. I got no problem with that.
I would have loved that. Yeah, that's like my favorite thing.
I bet you the bulk of the match would have been that than anything else. Okay, but no, it was booked like this. I mean, when we saw Survivor Series coming up and Jinder challenged Brock, I'm going like, no, that's not going to happen. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. And when you get Brock AJ, and you step back and you realize that it's all been booked like that, you also kind of realize, well, this is the only way they're going to get this kind of a match. Brock Lesnar is going to be at Survivor Series. He's going to have a match, contractually obligated. He's going to have a match. And it's, the rivalry between Raw and Smackdown. So we don't have to worry about building a program on Raw. So who do you want him to face on SmackDown that will make it seem like a big deal Brock Lesnar match? Okay. Number one pick is AJ Styles. So how do we make it happen? Boom, done. Okay.
Yeah, it worked.
And it worked brilliantly. And it was an intriguing match. I really like how most of Brock's matches start with him just out of the gate blowing people away. But then there's that one mistake.
Yeah. And
he does such a great job at showing how dire of a mistake it was. Especially like the calf crusher. No one's ever tapped. I think only once or twice people have tapped out to that. But holy hell, Brock's he was screaming like hell until he bounced AJ's head on the mat a lot, which was funny to me. I just like how Corey is brilliant. Corey Graves is brilliant on commentary when he's saying he just dribbled AJ's head like a basketball.
That was effective. And then before the match started, when AJ came out first and Brock was second, and Brock was circling the ring, and he described Brock as a great white shark circling his. And I was like, oh my God, that was I mean, Corey Graves is very subtle with, I mean, I got a couple of messages from people tonight going like, holy shit, the commentary is annoying tonight. And I'll give them that. It was too many people.
Yeah.
It was a little wordy at times. I mean, there were good moments like Michael Cole yelling at Byron Saxton, like, you can't use a chair, Byron, when Shane was trying to bring the chair back into the ring. But it gets a little argumentative, and then it gets distracting, and then it wasn't awful. I by no means did I think it ruined the show, but there were times it got just a little bit distracting. But when they do deliver those, if everybody universally seems to hate Booker T, because Jamel just said it, and I had a lot of people going, God, why is Booker T? I think they know he's not that great, which is why he's there, because it's like kind of funny to them, because he's not your typical color commentator guy. So
well, they make fun of him all the time on air.
They do, yeah.
Okay, and by God, I need more Corey making fun of Byron.
Yeah, that always happens.
My God, I love that, especially when they're done introducing all the foreign announcers. Every one of them said, "Shut up, Byron."
Yeah, shut up, Byron. We can see it, Byron. Shut up. But yeah, this was really good tonight. It was one of those things where it's like even the build to it. I don't know if you saw the promo on SmackDown where Daniel Bryan was pretending to be Paul Heyman and be an advocate for AJ, but he cut this promo about how that, yeah, Brock's this big, muscly, strong dude, but fatigue, will make everyone falls to fatigue at some point. Those big, jacked, muscly dudes. That's why you see a lot of guys that are boxers or mixed martial arts fighters. They try not to put too much muscle on because they tend to gas very quickly. So I like that he made that point. Then he made like a random joke about Brock tapping to Frank Mir like 10 years ago for some reason, but I liked that, and just kind of that aspect of like, yeah, AJ's the underdog, but he might, pull something out. And I don't know if, like Brian Farmer pointed out that AJ he's lost his last 3 pay-per-views matches, but I don't know if I get it. Like, there's a lot of people that just are pissed that Brock gets to walk in here and beat people, but it's like, I'm kind of on the fence of that, because I don't know if AJ should all of a sudden beat Brock Lesnar. Just like, I don't know,
No.
like it just doesn't flow well. Like he inserted himself into this match, and then this idea that he's going to go in there and like maybe you could fluke if there's a goal in mind, and they're trying to get multiple matches out of it. I get it, but as a one-off thing, because like these guys aren't going to probably wrestle ever again, so I don't know. I mean, that stuff I try not to get too caught up in that stuff, but that's the prototypical wrestling fan of, God damn it, he lost the match, and it happens.
I don't know. Check your sports pages and see how the standings look, and tell me how you feel about him winning all the time. I mean, come on, guys. Seriously?
It's Bork Laser. What are you going to do?
Stop it.
It's Bork Laser.
Bork Laser. God, he wins all the time. He won a Fatal 4-Way in SummerSlam. He won against Braun Strowman. He won against... So what about it?
I know, people just
what's so wrong about this? Okay, now hold on. Now, aside from making fun of the mentality of that, let's go ahead and get back in our booking armchairs here. If Brock Lesnar is going to lose, who's he going to do that to, and how?
Yeah,
I'm open for any suggestions. Okay. How will he lose, and to who? Okay.
Because a lot of people don't think about that.
Right now, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I really don't know.
I'd have Braun Strowman beat him.
Well, someone's eventually going to.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to happen. All right. But I don't understand the whole, I'm angry that he's winning all the time. Okay. Because heaven forbid we have another John Cena wins all the time, Roman Reigns wins all the time. Are we getting to that point? Are we going to have Brock Boo-Birds?
I think maybe because you don't see him as often, maybe not, but it's not like he beat AJ Styles. Okay, so there's a big difference between Goldberg beating, so like it's cool if like Goldberg goes in there and beats Brock in like 1:30 last year, but Brock has this long drawn out match with AJ Styles and just barely finds a way to counter and hit the F5. Like, to me, there's a massive difference in presentation. If you're a Brock Boobert, there's a lot of people like in the chats. I think Waukee said he's just bored of the presentation. I get that. It's what we've talked about this on the last podcast. We're going on 6-7 years now, maybe a little bit more of him being back in this company and doing.
We're looking at upwards about 5-6 years.
Okay, so I get it. After a while, you're going to get a little tired of it. But if he's working with new people and the matches are still good, I don't know why you would complain about. Like if tonight's match sucked, and you'd have a point with me. And if they had bad chemistry in the ring and the match was just like in and out, I get it. But like you got something pretty entertaining, I thought, tonight. I mean, it told a good story, and there were moments where AJ looked like he was going to pull it off, and they were kind of messing with everybody, and I don't know, but I didn't have a problem with it. But I understand the presentation of you're getting a little tired of it, but if you're putting them in there with new people, and that's
what's more is even the matches that he's having with people that he's had multiple matches with, like Cena, Triple H, Undertaker. Every one of them's been different.
Yeah.
Okay. Every one of the matches has been different. Okay. I totally get that you're tired of Heyman coming out and spewing and everything, and Brock just, bouncing around and smiling and saying, he's talking about me. I get that. You're tired of that. Anyone can be tired of that. That's completely understandable. And you're tired of him just showing up at big cities and not showing up in, say, I'll just use what's around me, showing up in Greensboro or showing up in Charlotte. He's not showing up in smaller cities. He's only going to the big cities. I get that complaint. Okay. But you can't let that factor into what he has been doing with this company for the past 5-6 years. They have been great matches. He's been telling great stories.
Do you think it's because my opinion's kind of skewed because I saw him debut in professional wrestling in 2002 on television. Granted, he was in developmental before that.
Right.
I saw his run go for about 2 solid years and end at a WrestleMania. I saw him leave professional wrestling, do a little stuff in Japan, but he really, really took off in the world of mixed martial arts. So I know Brock has performed as both an entertainer and as a legitimate fighting athlete, and then has come back to the wrestling world with that mystique around him. Maybe someone who didn't watch any of his UFC fights or watch any of his pre-UFC mixed martial arts fights, or did not watch him for that run from 2002 to 2000. Maybe that's, and I'm just trying to put myself in the place of the person. Like Brian Farmer said, he's boring. Is that it? If people just saw him re-entering in 2012 and they're like, okay, I guess, and they just didn't watch any of that stuff before that, because I can't imagine watching this dude and thinking he's boring. Like I can't imagine. Like the fucker walks out. He's got Paul Heyman screaming on a microphone. He's F5ing people. He's yelling suplex city bitch. Like I just can't imagine being bored by this guy. I can understand it waning with talent. And getting tired of seeing him working with the same people, but it's just a totally different presentation than anybody else on the roster right now. So it makes it unique. Yeah. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
I was about to try to make the analogy of like, God, I'll just mention all these people's names that are in this company that I have not watched their entire career. I'll tell you right now, probably half of the entire WWE roster, I've never seen their entire career. I only know what they're doing here right now, okay? In the case of Brock Lesnar, where you talk like you kind of have a certain bias about, you've seen him from the beginning, but you can make that same kind of argument for any performer you have ever seen in professional wrestling in any company, okay? To where, by God, yeah, just name a company, name a promotion, name a performer. You'll find people that, will praise him to high heaven. And there are some that say, meh. And one of the biggest reasons they're going to say meh is because they say he's boring. Why is he boring? Well, I just don't get it. He's just not grabbing me.
Sure.
I'm not buying what he's selling, while everyone else has already bought all of his stuff. Okay? And so it's not as much a bias. It's just that you have no buyer's remorse. You've bought this product before in Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. You know what you're getting is going to be good by your standards, okay? There are a lot of people out there that loved Brock Lesnar when he debuted. Hi, how you doing? I mean, I'll buy him powerbombing Jeff Hardy 6 times.
That's great.
Okay? Loved it, okay? However, I am still waiting to get my money back from the warranty when he was trying to be a chicken shit heel. Okay? That sucked.
Not good. Okay. Or when he tried to be in a babyface for a while, too.
Or when he tried being a babyface. That sucked. Okay? So I'm not going to say that this guy is the greatest thing ever. I'm going to say he definitely has his faults. Okay? But it's because I've seen those faults that I know what I'm going to get from him. Okay? Yes, I know he's been in UFC. Yes, I know he's done some stints in Japan. But I never watched the stuff in Japan. I saw his fights at UFC. Mm-hmm. But I know the history. I know my buying record. I know what to expect. Okay. Yeah. But I'm not going to sit here and, I will try my hardest to try to sell him and say, hey, he's doing some good matches. But if everyone else is saying that he's boring, well, again, it might be because you haven't bought and seen as much as I have, and I'm not going to hold that against you.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with that. By God, it's happening right now with NXT. I don't know what an Adam Cole is, but everyone seems to know what the fucking Adam Cole is.
They sure do.
Apparently, he is the greatest thing since Shawn Michaels. I don't know that. I don't know what the fuck this guy is. He sounds like a plumber, okay? But apparently everyone likes him.
They sure do, man.
I don't see what it is, okay? but I'm not going to laud people like, oh, how can you like this guy? Oh, get him off the TV. No, but I don't expect the Adam Cole people to come to me going like, oh, how couldn't you know? You are on a wrestling website. You should be watching him all the time. I'm sorry. These are just my tendencies.
Didn't
you
happen.
know, dear God, let's not talk about CM Punk for once. Dear God, I don't know that fucker.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm glad that's
but
sort
everyone
of
thought he was the goddamn Messiah. Daniel Bryan, he was Jesus incarnate.
Yeah, and
I didn't get it. Okay,
Yeah.
So I guess that's the thing is we know what we've seen this for so long. We know what we're gonna get, and if anyone else, hasn't bought as much as we have, that's okay. The door's always all open to come on into the party. If not, then don't put your feet up on the table at my party. Okay, let me enjoy it.
What did you think about the Shield kicking off this evening? I thought that was an interesting move.
Perfect move.
But you kind of had to, though, right? Because you didn't want to take anything away from the main event, the Raw vs. Smackdown main event. You knew Brock and AJ was probably going to be pretty good. Brian Farmer was skeptical. He had a little skeptical hippo action with me on Twitter before the match started, but he was impressed, I think. But it was a good move, right, to have the Shield come out first and mix it up with the New Day?
Well, no, it's the perfect MO for joint branded WWE pay-per-views, that you always have the first match be your, get everyone up out of their seats and pump them up. There's going to be let's get the show going, so what is your, hype up match to kick off the pay-per-view? It used to always be the Dolph Ziggler match because he flopped like a fish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one was everyone's going to be flopping like a fish. This was the high spot match. Okay. And there are plenty of them to choose from. Okay. My only thing is Dean Ambrose just don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been watching some past payper-views that we've had this year.
Yeah.
I've just been kind of, cause I'll just go ahead and face facts. I was missing some Braun in my life, so I watched his past matches for the past year. But at the same time, I went through and watched the past pay-per-views, just to rewatch them, kind of refresh myself a little bit. And I was looking at Dean Ambrose's past matches this year, back when he had the world title, and between that lag of then having his program with The Miz and then coming on to Raw and everything. He is just moving around like he just does not give a crap anymore. I just don't see the enthusiasm.
Shiftygism in the chat said, did Dean ever give a shit? He's always been mediocre as all. Yeah, he's an interesting guy, I think, because there's moments where you see that he does, and then there's a lot of moments. And it's weird because I watched that table for three they did with all the Shield guys, and the entire time Dean's just like, whatever. And he's just very disinterested in the conversation they're having. He goes off on a tangent about his favorite peanut butter and jelly sandwich that he likes, and he likes to put chips on it. And they're just like, oh, okay. And they're having a genuine conversation about their careers. And Dean Ambrose is just like, yeah, whatever, guys, whatever. And he's just,
but he's a wacky guy.
Yeah. And I still have no idea what he's supposed to be, but he had sort of a good fit with and I think I think it was Trey pointed out a long time ago, how when they did split the Shield, Seth kind of had a story to go with Triple H and the Authority. Dean became the wacky, crazy dude, and Roman Reigns just kept wearing the Shield stuff. And I thought a lot of these guys had identity crisis outside of the Shield, and I couldn't believe that statistic. I think it was Michael Cole said it tonight, that has it really been 5 years since these guys debuted?
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah. That was when they ran out and they had the turtleneck, the black turtleneck. So
yeah,
they eventually dropped that. But I could not believe it's been 5 years since they showed up. So,
and it has to have been at least 2.5 since Dean had a facial expression.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, because he cannot emote worth shit anymore. Okay,
he's not a fan.
When he was with the Shield, when he first started, he was perfect. He was emoting like mad. You can see his expression and everything. That's why everyone was latching on to him. It wasn't because he sounded like Heath Ledger. It was because he had the facial expressions. Now, he just has the same look on his face of well, okay, I guess we'll go to McDonald's again today. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, he looks bored.
He looks incredibly bored. Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of always had that. And I don't know if I didn't really get to see a lot of his indie stuff when he was John Moxley, I think was his name, but he did a lot of the CZW garbage wrestling stuff. So I don't know if that was kind of the similar thing that he did there, but
I got a feeling that's why he's so disinterested.
Because he doesn't have weapons.
At the beginning of his solo career, when they got him out of the Shield, that's all he did was garbage matches.
He did.
That's all he did, and he looked like he was happy doing that. Now they had him doing the clean stuff. He just ain't having it.
And he had the weird Steve Austin podcast interview, and he was just kind of not the best WWE champion. That I mean, granted they did it in the summer, so if you're going to try something, do it in the summer. But yeah, that didn't go too well. But I don't know. The Shield thing had a lot of momentum, and then Roman Reigns got the mumps, and then Kurt Angle put on the Shield gear, and then they had Triple H put on the Shield gear in Europe during the tour to replace Roman. And I don't know if it's there was that moment where I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool to see this again, and I'm on board, and wrestling recycles stuff, and we're all we love our nostalgia with wrestling, so I was like, okay, I can go with this. This is kind of cool. And then I'm assuming we're going to keep the Shield together through the Rumble, and maybe, I don't know if it's going to go till WrestleMania, but
doing what?
I don't know. That's a wonderful question. That's a wonderful question.
I don't know.
Yeah,
what
I don't know.
Are they going to do? I mean, are they going to try their rematch with Sheamus and Cesaro? I mean, go right ahead, but Roman's in the dark. What's he going to do? Is
that a wrestling thing? Because we have short attention spans that it's November 19th, and they try to put these guys together in October. It's really only been like 4 or 5 weeks maybe, and we're already like done. I mean, I don't know if it's a wrestling thing or it's just a lack of just stuff didn't line up the way they had planned, and I don't know.
This has been WWE's problem this entire year, is when shit happens. Okay, like someone gets injured. Someone's got someone's injured, someone's got the mumps, someone's locked in the bathroom. It seems to be this problem with the WWE, is that when something unexpected happens, their way to try to get out of it and book themselves out of it is for shit. I mean, it does not help. Whatever they think of is not the best idea. Samoa Joe gets injured, so they put pedal to the metal, Reigns and Cena.
That's a good point.
Bad move. What else? A Strowman gets injured, so let's just have a 5-way match on a pay-per-view to determine who's going to be the number 1 contender. But by the way, you've got 3 weeks to build that. They couldn't have done something else. They couldn't have done anything else. And apart from that, Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor were supposed to have some kind of superhero match.
That didn't happen.
Of some kind.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. How do you think Bray feels right now?
Yeah, Shifty Gism in the chat said, was Sister Abigail locked in the bathroom? Where'd she go at? And it's like, yeah, there was... Not that I wanted to see that. I'm kind of glad we didn't have to watch that, because that looked so bad.
It looked incredibly cheesy.
Oh, my God.
But you know what? I wanted the cheese.
But
I wanted this fondue pot really badly. Okay.
Brian Farmer said she got the smallpox, so that's also very possible.
Who knows? It's just, but there have been so many injuries that have happened this past calendar year with the WWE that they have not been able to get themselves out of, and it's hurt the talent that it's, my God, how do you think the Revival feels?
Oh God, I literally forgot they existed until I was looking at the roster and someone said something about one of those guys. I was like, oh my God, I forgot they were on the roster, but
yeah.
So there's been a lot of injuries. Another point Brian Farmer made in the chat that I hear a lot on Twitter and on our Facebook group is, they're just trying to get people to cheer for Roman Reigns and putting him back with the Shield so that by the time WrestleMania rolls around and he wins the title, then, because it's pretty clear that's what they're going to probably do. They're probably going to do a Brock and Roman rematch, and we'll probably get the finish we were supposed to get a couple years ago instead of having Seth run out and cash in the briefcase. So I still think they're going to boo him. I don't think there's any... You can't escape that. Like, there's this idea that if you keep pressing your foot on the gas pedal with Roman Reigns and they keep putting obstacles in the road and you keep smashing through the obstacles, but eventually the car is going to fall apart and you can keep putting new parts on that car, but there's just I've never understood why, after they saw how well, and maybe it's buyer's remorse on their part that they went along with the Daniel Bryan thing, which I thought was the right move at that time, but they maybe felt buyer's remorse because of how injury prone he became at that point, because he was so banged up. So maybe they feel like, well, you know what? We went with the dude that you picked, and he got injured, and look what happened. It screwed everything up for us. So now we're going to go with a guy that we know is consistent. He's reliable, minus the fact that he happened to get the mumps, which was very random. But for the most part, he's pretty reliable. So maybe they feel like that's the safer road to go on, even if the crowd's saying, no, we don't like this guy. We don't accept this guy. They just feel like that's the safer choice for them to do. And I don't know. Maybe that's
right now when it comes to Roman, in my eyes, yes, this is the safe thing for them to do. But also, I hope everyone's kind of seeing what's happening right now. He's not the one that's got the green light right now. He's not the one that, they're so concerned about. They're not trying to get the right reaction from the crowds. They could give a damn what the reactions are for Roman. Okay. They really, they're right now, their focus is on Braun Strowman. Okay. That should be plain as day for everyone right now. If you're still concerned about Roman and them trying to prop him up and to make you cheer instead of boo, just take a step back and enjoy the power slams. Enjoy the simplicity of professional wrestling and try not to think too much. Okay. What they're doing right now with Roman is, yes, they're giving him something comfortable. And it's not that just so that everyone can cheer for it and cheer for him. It's just so they can cheer. That's it. My God, they were saying, we still hate you. Okay. You still suck is what they're chanting.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and that's fine. Let everyone chant what they want. That's fine. And I'll go ahead and admit it right now. When he came back from the mumps and was on Raw and had his little back and forth with Stephanie, that's the best I've heard him on a mic with someone else in the ring with him in forever.
Yeah.
Okay. He's getting comfortable. I think that's the big thing, is that he's finally getting comfortable. And this is what he's comfortable in, is in this persona, in being part of a group where they just do whatever the hell they want and not be the hero that has a code of ethics. Okay. This is what he's comfortable in. This is what he just needs bullet points on a script to do and not the script itself.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's fine, and sooner or later that group's going to break up again and he's going to be right back to where he started. But that doesn't mean that we should be focusing on, he's being shoved down our throats again. That's not the point.
No.
The point is they're trying to find a place for him on this television show. Okay, and they found it.
Makes sense.
Okay, that's all they've done.
Yeah.
Pay attention to Braun. Okay, it's going to be interesting how he's going to be booked from here until WrestleMania. Because really, I have no clue, and I really like it right now. And I keep singing his praises just because his character is, the presentation and everything about him is so simple. It is so simple,
but it's great.
So
it's totally great.
But I'm not going to heap so many praises when we were too busy bitching about Roman. So
well, we have to address Roman. He's the guy. He's the man. He's the person.
He's the guy. He's the one they want us to like, but we really aren't cheering for right now. We're cheering for someone else.
We like Braun. Braun's a little bit better. Yeah. Do you want to hot take the rest of the card here, since we've been going for about an hour, because we want to talk a little NXT? I know you wanted to.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do some quick hot takes here. Yeah.
All right, let's hot take the rest of this. Baron Corbin and The Miz. What'd you think of that? How'd that one go for you?
Oh, that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was okay.
I need more Baron blowing kisses at people's wives.
I do like him being the asshole. It's like, won't you? Even though his promo delivery, there's times where I'm like, oof. What else? There was. I thought I had it. Never mind. It wasn't that match. It was another match. If I remember it, I'll get to it. I loved the ending to the Usos against Cesaro and Sheamus with the hot tag leaping out of the ring and then leading to the finish. That was very, very well executed. Incredibly well executed. So I enjoyed that. Did you like that match? Okay.
I absolutely enjoyed that match. If there was anything that could have started that could have opened the pay-per-view.
What'd you think of Charlotte Flair getting the win over Alexa Bliss? tonight.
That was a fun match, and it's Sunday. Charlotte wins on Sundays.
She does win on Sundays. I liked Alexa getting super pissed off that she kept doing stuff, and Charlotte would just keep. She was like, "What's going on?" She gets so angry. I like
when she's yelling at the ref.
Oh, I do too. I love pissed off Alexa Bliss. It's just so much fun. Her and Alicia Fox getting pissed off are just endlessly entertaining. So I was a big fan of that. We have some hot takes in the chat, Douglas. Brian Farmer says the women's divisions are deeper than the men's divisions. I would give that a big old flat no, but
no, not at all.
There's some good stuff in the women's division, but not even close. Oh, we're sexist, Doug, for saying that. Usos, Cesaro, and Sheamus are two of the best teams the WWE's had in 20 years. That is from Torqueman79. I would say the Usos are. The Cesaro and Sheamus, I think, need a little bit more time as a team. But the Usos, I've been singing the Usos praises for a long time, and I get shit for it, and now people are starting to notice. And so I'm just sitting back here, crossing the old arms and going, told you. I could be the hunter going, I kind of got to say I told you so, but...
That's when you go, sorry guys, the couch is a little lumpy, the seat might be a little uncomfortable, but it's still here for you.
Still here. Jamel says the Usos are the best act in the WWE. Would you say they're the best act?
No, I don't know about that.
They're probably the best tag team. I don't know if they're the best act.
They are definitely the most fun tag team to watch.
They are very fun.
They definitely are. Yeah.
Lewis said, is it me or does Alexa seem like she'd be a cunt in real life? She's actually not. She's the total opposite of that, which is interesting how well she plays that on television, which just goes to show what a good performer she is. But yeah, she's the total opposite in real life. El Rocco said Peyton Royce is a better prospect than Ember Moon. Ooh, that's a powerful statement because I'm sure
we'll be getting into that.
Because I saw Peyton Royce throw punches last night and I was not a fan. So we'll have a
we'll be getting.
We'll have I mean, she's very pretty. She's got an interesting presentation. The whole Poison Ivy Venus flytrap thing. But yeah, she needs to work on her lockups and her punches a little bit there.
She needs to work on wrestling. It sounds like
in general.
Yeah.
Take a Rule says Finn would be better off on SmackDown. I think a lot of people would be better off switching brands after tonight.
I think we are due for a shuffle of some kind.
Are they going to have to do that twice every year? Like every 6 months they do a shuffle because things are going to get too... Because I was thinking about this, like we're in November. How are they going to get to WrestleMania with what they got right now and make it interesting?
I don't know.
Right
now, I have no clue what's going on for WrestleMania. I really don't. So they got to do some shuffling of some kind. That'd be my hot take. Is you're going to see a shuffle happen sometime before the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I would hope so. May said Survivor Series is one of the top shows WWE has put on all year in both booked card and payoff. I would say it was one of their better shows this year. Yeah, and it just because it was refreshing. I mean, we got to see people work that we normally don't get to see work together. So
I can't put this above SummerSlam. SummerSlam right now is the best pay-per-view.
That was your number one? Okay.
Yeah, that's right now my number one. Okay. Number two might be this one, though I did like Great Balls of Fire.
Minus the name of the show.
Minus the name of the show. You know, Brock Samoa Joe and Braun Roman ambulance match.
That was actually pretty good. And
that was a fun show.
SummerSlam was the big monster main event, right?
Oh, yeah, the big four-way. So that was some fun stuff.
I'll probably go with SummerSlam, too. Goosey said Enzo Amore's character needs to be totally redone. To what?
No, first off, redone to what? And number two, not when Drew Gulak is so fucking hilarious.
Drew Gulak is hilarious with him.
What are you doing? I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
The big smile.
My God, I love this.
That was a very smart idea to put him with Enzo.
Oh.
Daniel said the Usos turning heel was the best thing that ever happened to them. I think so. I mean,
now they're face. So what are they?
They were a fine babyface tag team with the paint, but when they took the paint off and got the scary music, I would agree. Shifty Gizm says Peyton Royce's theme music is not PG. What does her theme music sound like again? I don't remember.
She has theme music?
I know, it's just distracting, right? Yeah. Lewis said John Cena in the Hall of Fame in a couple years. I think he's going to keep on wrestling, even if it's not...
He's got another 5 in him.
Yeah, maybe.
He's got another 5 in him, and he's going part-time here.
He's doing a lot of movies. He's in they just showed a trailer for that new movie he's in, where he's doing the voice of a bull, some animated movie.
Ferdinand the Bull, dude. Don't you know
Ferdinand?
the story of Ferdinand the Bull?
I do not know the story of that, so that was news to me.
Okay, well, stay tuned for an Easter egg. I'll go ahead and fill you in on that.
Okay. Bronx said, where do you go with Jason Jordan from here? Put him in acting classes, and I think at some point he's got to slap Dad, right?
At some point, he's going to turn heel. He's going to smack Dad in the face, or he's going to smack Triple H in the face and get fired.
Probably. Or, I mean, they got to do something with that. I mean, I know people, you know, I agree with you. He's not very good on the promo department, but there's something there. I was enjoying the stuff he was doing with Elias in the weeks I was covering Raw, so I didn't totally hate it, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not ready to give up on it yet. May said that Peyton was trained by one of the worst, and he said in caps, worst Australian wrestlers. It's no wonder she needs to work on her basics. I think they would have had her working on that in the Performance Center.
Maybe.
Not Bronx. Goosey said Drew Gulak is doing a Donald Trump character. Is he doing a Donald Trump character?
I thought he's not. I don't know where you're getting that from.
Is it because of the
He
sign?
can form complete sentences. This is not a Donald Trump character.
Well, he was doing the Donald Trump, like the Make America Great Again. He was doing the Let's Not Do Any Flips.
Yeah, he's doing the Make 205.
Okay, so he was doing that.
He's still doing that stuff.
Not from a promo stamp. Like he wasn't doing Trump stuff on the promo stuff, but
no.
Frankie said, anyone else agreed John Cena was a waste of a paycheck tonight?
No.
I don't think so. I mean, they probably could have built up his involvement a little bit more than just, you know, Shane going, oh, by the way, we got John Cena, and then it was on .com, and that's kind of how they made the announcement.
No, not at all. You got Kurt Angle that's going to be in the ring. Of course you want to have John Cena in there to do the whole nostalgia kick.
Yeah. Torqueman said it looks like John Cena is becoming the next Undertaker that shows up 3 or 4 times a year for a big match. I'd be fine with that. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Goose also said it looks like they teased a WrestleMania match between Finn and Shinsuke tonight. And most likely. Maybe.
They teased at least 7 or 8 different matches tonight.
They're on different brands.
Okay.
Yeah.
So take your pick.
They'd have to fix that because they're on different brands.
They teased Triple H, Bobby Roode. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
He teased a lot tonight. Let's see. William Walker said Survivor Series was better than TakeOver WarGames. I can't.
Let's go into that discussion.
We will, but I don't like to compare NXT shows with these shows. Even though.
No, I don't either.
A lot of wrestling media does that. Well, they'll say, "Oh, TakeOver was." I'm just like, no, it's just no. Let's not.
No, stop it. Shut up.
It's the same company. Company can't beat itself.
No. No. That's not like how you say, "Oh, the Old Navy is better than Gap." No, shut up.
Jamel said Rock or Batista will headline the Hall of Fame this year. Batista wants absolutely nothing to do with this company, so maybe
he's done. Oh, Batista's done. He could give a damn.
Maybe The Rock, but I don't know. It's in New Orleans, so I guess there's no tie in there. I don't know who they're gonna do, but they have people saved. That's why everyone gets so mad when some people don't go in the Hall of Fame. Like, well, they're spacing it out because they have to have people to use like every year.
Because people are voting for this and they aren't voting correctly, Adam.
I know, silly me.
They didn't have a good enough record.
There we go. Well, we had a lot of hot takes tonight. That was good. So thank you, everybody. And when you hear the music, you know that means we're going to do some hot takes.
We can't think of anything on our own.
Well,
that's why.
Because we've got nothing else to talk about. We do really quick before we wrap up. We want to talk about TakeOver a little bit because normally we just don't even talk about it. But I was surprised to see that you were watching. Did you want to watch because of the WarGames thing? Is that what had you intrigued?
I'll be honest. No, I watched number 1, I guess, because of the WarGames. But number 2, it's the first weekend I had where I was at home, not doing anything for like 5 or 6 straight weekends.
Okay.
It was finally like Deanna and I, my girlfriend, we've been sitting here going like, damn it, we finally have a weekend where we can stay home and do nothing.
It's nice.
Okay. Which means do chores and clean, do other kinds of couple stuff. But I was like, oh, it's 7:00. Oh, yeah, there's a stupid little wrestling show coming on. Oh, what the heck? I'll watch it. See what the heck it is. You know. Wow, is it stupid?
It's so I use the term bizarre, and I don't know. I didn't mean that in like a negative way, but it's like stepping into. It's like buying a ticket to an indie show with good production. It's a lot of people I know of, but I have not seen work. Like that was the first time I watched Aleister Black wrestle. I know he's this big popular guy from Europe, but I'd never watched him wrestle before.
I don't get it.
Yeah, you weren't a fan of his music. I think his music and his to me I thought you would like him because of the fact that we both have that appreciation for that like black metal kind of scene where, coming out of like Europe and like the Viking kind of like, that's the vibe I get with him with like the candle.
The look I absolutely get. The
Okay.
music is not matching the look.
But it has that metal, like black metal, he's on he sits up like a vampire. There's the candles. What I don't get is the in-ring offense. He needs to figure that out because he's doing backflips into a seated position. So I don't know. It's like,
He looks like he can't lift a person.
it's like if CM Punk knew how to do flips.
Exactly.
And springboards. So that's kind of weird, but I know you like the Velveteen Dream though, because he was shaking them hips and
Oh, I love me some Velveteen Dream, man. I gotta tell you.
There was a moment, and I typed it on our Facebook group where I said, "What the fuck am I watching?" When they were both looking at each other, and it was vaguely homoerotic, and the crowd started a kiss chant, and I was like, "What?" It was so. I'll give them this. I have not seen anything like that on WWE television or pay-per-view. So I'll give them that. It was weird. Torqueman goes, vaguely. Yeah, it was pretty homoerotic. But it was I haven't seen something like that ever in a long time outside of like the Goldust stuff. So it was different. I don't know if that means it was great, but it was definitely like, oh, well, you don't see that one every day. So
it definitely captures your attention.
Yes, that's the best way to describe it. It captures your attention.
It definitely captures your attention.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if that's
well, no, I think I'm trying to remember. It was on our page. Someone said, it was the typical, obnoxious black kid against the stoic white guy.
And all he wanted was for Black to say his name. That's
just to acknowledge.
Just to acknowledge him, and then he finally did, and everyone was like, "Oh!" And it was the big.
Yeah, and I was expecting, "Oh,
yeah," it was the big reaction. So he was happy about that. So there's a lot of chaos I noticed with NXT. Like I liked Lars Sullivan and Cassius Ono. Like I like Lars's presentation. But then Cass is just like, Ono's just throwing like elbows and discus elbows. And I'm like, that's his offense. So I get it. Mm-hmm. But the matches themselves, like the women's match too, like very chaotic. Peyton Royce does not know how to throw a punch. She doesn't know how to lock up. She was doing like slow motion punches. It was weird. It was very weird, very strange. And then the Drew McIntyre Almas match. Almas, Andre Cien Almas, or however you say it. So I don't know a lot about Cien because he comes from Mexico. He was big in lucha libre circles. Never have I ever watched him wrestle in my entire life. I was aware. Actually, I take that back. I watched him wrestle at a NXT show once. But it was just, it was like if Rey Mysterio put on like 80 pounds of muscle and did the same amount of flips and got taller.
If Rey Mysterio enjoyed a few more Cuban sandwiches.
Yes, and was a lot taller and had more muscle on him. So, but I liked the pairing with, I want to call her Rosita because was her name in TNA.
Oh, it was Zelina.
It brings you back to your TNA Impact recap. Rosita. But she was great out there with him. Yeah. She's very effective with him. I mean, that really upped his presentation. And apparently Drew busted his bicep during that match. And I wrote this on Twitter, and I don't know if you got the same vibe, but when Drew lost, it reminded me of when you're watching like an NFL game and someone blows a play, like someone throws like a pick six or something, and they immediately zoom in on the quarterback, and he's just like, you just see the anguish and how upset he is. And they did that with Drew, and I was like, wow, that was really good. Like, they just, like, he was just kind of like, no way. I just lost. I didn't lose. I lost. Seriously. And then Almas kind of realizing that he won. He's like, oh, I got the title. And
I got this.
Yeah, it was, I liked that presentation. I thought that was cool. So that was pretty well done. But I guess everybody was more watching though, more or less for the WarGames, which had different stipulations. Were you confused by the stipulations when they showed that on the...
When they showed that on the screen, I was like, this is not the WarGames I remember.
So go over the WarGames you remember and what they ended up doing last night.
Well, when I guess what I remember most is that they didn't throw all the weapons and shit in there, you know?
And there was a roof,
not
right?
As much. There was a roof. Yes, there was a roof on the cage. They didn't have the stipulation of if you escaped, your team forfeited.
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't have that crap. I guess that's what threw me off a little bit. But I guess the thing with the WarGames theme, I guess, or the gimmick match itself is this was not meant for NXT. It wasn't. And it certainly wasn't meant for whatever the hell they're trying to build between all of these people involved when they had only been beating each other up for like the past 4 or 5 weeks. Okay. It sure as hell did not warrant it. Okay. Then what's more is the WarGames that I remember watching did not have as much stuff going in it. And again, that was like over 25 years ago.
Well, it was like they took the elements of the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Where you are in a caged corner. It's not really a cage, like a pod.
Yeah, you're like in plots in little caged corners and everything.
You're in a pod, the countdown clock goes, it shines on you, and then you insert the match, and then you change the which I thought was interesting, doing this in a tag team format, whereas like one dude comes in and can kind of change, but having 2 dudes run in helping, I liked that aspect of it. I didn't mind the weapons. I loved Killian Dane from Sanity. That dude was 100% the MVP last night. He was awesome.
Yeah, he's getting a call up very quickly.
Oh yeah, I'd be surprised if that one doesn't happen soon.
He's getting a call up very, very quickly.
Yeah, I enjoyed that though. He was great. Where it lost me though, and I think you know where I'm going with this. Obviously, there was a lot of Tower of Doom spots, and every time that happens, I get tweets and tagged, and but it's still terrible to this day. But where it lost me was seeing Adam Cole get superplexed off the top of the cage, and then kick out after 2, or I think he got a shoulder up or something. And ECW did this a lot, and I remember at the time thinking that was stupid then, where someone would get like, they would have like a neck breaker through a table over a steel chair, and then they would get the shoulder up. And I remember JBL mocking that at One Night Stand when like Masato Tanaka and Mike Awesome had a match, and they were doing just like ridiculous shit where if like that was the finish of a match, you'd be okay with it, but they would kick out and do a shoulder. So it was like, and Brian Farmer saying that's modern WWE for you. Yeah, there's a lot of kickouts, but I feel like in the WWE though, if that happened, that's a finish for a match. But in NXT, in front of this crowd, that's very smarky, that's acceptable. And like, I wonder if a lot of your typical NXT viewers batted an eye at that. Because that to me, I was like, well, no wonder why a lot of people think this kind of wrestling's stupid. Because some dude just got superplexed off the top of a cage. Shifty Gism goes, well, he's super skinny, so it's less impact. But it's like, come on, like that was a pretty. I mean, that should finish a match. Like, it's kind of intelligence insulting a little bit. It's like, I'm already suspending my disbelief. And
You're not the motherfucking Undertaker.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Come on.
Stop it. So, yeah, I didn't like that.
That's my takeaway from watching NXT, especially WarGames and everything, is this whole Undisputed Era group. Okay, these 3 guys that are apparently from different federations or something like that. I could not tell you their names or pick them out of a lineup. Okay, I don't know who these fucks are. Okay, but apparently they're a big deal, and I was never explained why.
Who are you talking about?
Okay, the Undisputed Era fucks, Adam Cole and the other 2 guys.
The best way to
no, here, I don't want you to tell me. Okay, here's the thing. I don't want you to tell me.
Well, I was just going to tell you where they're from.
I want NXT and the commentary people to tell me. Why should I give a shit about these guys? Why are they so great?
Yeah.
Explain them to me.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't get it.
If they told you last night that they were from Ring of Honor, would that have been better?
And what did they do?
Exactly. Okay.
What did they do?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, sure, they're in Ring of Honor. They were over here. Okay, well, just tell me they won titles. You haven't even told me that. They're just from somewhere. So, why are they so great?
Is it because they're doing the kind of like we're gonna wink at you and you know where they're from if you're a real wrestling fan? Because they do blur those lines in NXT where like Triple H is very aware of what the internet is a big fan of, a talent that they would support. I mean, it's very calculated. The talent he's signing, taking the photos of them, taking a photo with them rather when the contract signed, and shaking the hand and saying welcome to the NXT universe, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like a wink, like, you know where these guys are from, because you know,
I'm sure it's
when
all
Adam
calculated. I totally get that. It's all calculated.
It's calculated.
I know he's pulling in a niche crowd. I totally get that. But what I don't like is when people say, "Oh, they got to go to the main roster." No, they don't.
No, I would let that.
Hell no. But the problem is, these are the same people. Oh, Shinsuke Nakamura went to the main roster, and you didn't know who he was. Well, that took time.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was in NXT for a year.
That took some time.
Yeah.
All right. NXT. These three fucks. I hope they stay there forever. Okay. I don't want to see them anywhere near Raw or SmackDown because I can't tell any one of them apart. Regardless if they got a handlebar mustache, long hair, or if they have just the name that you could find in a phone book that would repair your heating and air conditioning. Okay? They make me angry. Okay? They really do.
They make you angry because people know who they are and you have no idea who they are?
Yeah, and the people who are responsible for telling me why everyone is cheering for them are not telling me. I want to be a part of this party. Okay? I want to join this party. I really want to know what the hell is going on here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm watching your program. I want to be part of this social gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you're confused. Why?
I'm incredibly confused. Okay.
Why is
and
this happening?
I don't want the fucks cheering for them, trying to tell me why I should like them. No, you're biased. We had this talk before.
Daniel said Doug feels left out. I feel left out too watching NXT because I don't know what's going on a lot of the times.
Okay.
But
I remember back in the days of Blue Pants.
Oh yeah, I have no idea. I was like, why am I? why is Blue Pants?
But they never explained it. You know, she was just stupid. She was wacky. That was something that we could get. She's
just here. Yeah, I know. It's a little silly.
Now there's some fucker named Fish. Why?
Yeah, I don't.
Why is he here? Why is he important? He's not doing anything. What? I don't get it.
Hayden said, everybody send Adam Cole videos to Doug, quick. It's just a bunch. You're going to get just tagged in a bunch of, this is who he is, Doug.
Send him. Okay, that's fine. But
I know.
Whatever.
But it is true, though. Like, you're a person who is a subscriber that watched that special that had no idea that Adam Cole and Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly did all the stuff in Ring of Honor together. And they're on your television screen. And yeah, that's a fair point to make. Maybe someone would say, well, you could maybe start watching the weekly television show, but I don't know if the television show really did that great of a job of describing who they are. They just
I watched a couple of their episodes. No, they didn't.
But they won the goddamn WarGames, Doug. So that's all that matters, right? Triple H said it's coming back, most likely in NXT, but I don't know. We'll see. I didn't totally hate it. I obviously I groaned very loudly when a human being was superplexed off the top of a cage and got a shoulder up. But outside of that, you know, Killian Dane just beating the shit out of dudes.
Killian Dane just made me smile.
Yeah, he was great. He was great. I enjoyed that. So it's definitely it's an acquired taste. To me, NXT is beer. It's an acquired taste. A lot of people don't like it. I know more people personally that dislike beer than other forms of alcohol. That's how I like to describe NXT. It's like beer. Either you like it or you don't like it. And there's people that will purchase beer and drink lots of beer, and there's other people like myself. I love beer personally, but a lot of people I know dislike it, and they go, "How can you drink that?" And that's kind of this indie. Like for instance, I was watching Tommy Dreamer's promotion just debuted on Twitch, which I think is a good idea. If you're going to do something, do it on Twitch.
It's a fabulous idea. Fabulous idea.
But again, that was a bunch of, there was a lot of dudes on. There was some guy named what's his name? Something Saurus. I have to tell you his name because it's.
You don't know him? Oh, he's great, Adam.
I have to tell you this guy's name because it's going to make you laugh. I got to make sure I'm not going to be okay. He was wearing a mask. His name is the Luchasaurus, and he was like a dinosaur, but he has like a dinosaur mask in the form of a lucha mask.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
And I was like, what is this? And then I saw
Luchasaurus. Sign me the fuck up.
But it's like, but that's Tommy Dreamer's approach to wrestling is we're not going to explain a lot. We're just going to have a dude walk out named the Lucha.
Tell me he's coming out to the Jurassic Park theme.
He actually, I heard dinosaurs. Do you think I'd get booted off YouTube if I put this up on the screen? It's on Twitch.
No, they would ask for us to promote them.
Can we look at the Luchasaurus really quick before we?
Yeah,
Okay.
please look up.
All
Yeah, sign me the fuck up.
I laughed and I was like, okay, I might kind of maybe watch this a little bit here. Oh yeah, they said Brian. I think Brian Farmer said there's Godzilla. It sounded like Godzilla music or something that he was coming out to.
Gojira. So
this dude, and so I think this is a cool move for them to be doing this on Twitch. First of all, they had some technical glitches. Which it's that's just naturally gonna happen when you're doing.
Well, it
something.
Always happens on Twitch on anyone's stream.
Exactly. You're broadcasting live, and I totally get it.
You're not Ring of Honor tripping over the extension cord.
No, not at all. Not at all. Let's see if I can get the Luchasaurus up here for everybody here we go. Okay.
The Luchasaurus.
I'm gonna pump up his music here a little bit, so let's get this going. Okay. Here's the Luchasaurus, everybody. It's ridiculous. Okay. There we go. The La Brea Tar Pits, Doug. Look at this mask.
Oh, it's fabulous.
It's a great mask.
Yes. This is professional wrestling, people.
And he just, I don't know what he does. And look, his logo is the Jurassic Park logo, but it says Luchasaurus.
This is wrestling right here.
It is.
This is wrestling, okay?
Yeah. Look at that mask. It's amazing. Yeah, so, all right, that's a Luchasaurus. I don't want to get in too much trouble. Sorry, Tommy. I'm just trying to promote your shit. But, so like, okay, so for instance, that's an interesting approach to it. That's not going to be for everybody. The Luchasaurus.
No, absolutely not.
But there's definitely a market of wrestling fans that are, because when he brought up the WWE earlier in the show, it got loud boos and he kind of started smiling because he knew that, of course, they're going to boo the WWE. Yeah. But, it is what it is. So not everyone's going to like a certain kind of professional wrestling. And there's a lot out there. There's a lot of content out there now. Oh, yeah. But I just don't I saw some stuff on my Twitter feed, Doug, of like, if you didn't like NXT TakeOver last night, you should just stop watching wrestling. It's like, no, it's just maybe you don't like that kind of presentation. Like, it's up to interpretation. And
maybe
opinion.
you don't have enough friends.
Or maybe you got a lot of time in your hands, maybe? Is that why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe. It's like one of those, like, if you didn't enjoy this football game, then you're not a football fan.
Yeah.
No, fuck you. Maybe I just didn't like the game.
I hate those, I dislike those, kind of like they try to put you in a corner. They're like, if you didn't like this, then God, it's like, don't do that to me. Like, don't stop. Like, it's just a weird approach to try to like accuse me of something just because I'm not a big fan of something. But
you made the alcoholic metaphor of beer.
Yeah.
This is beer. To me, NXT right now, when it comes to certain performers that are on there, are like a cocktail that you would get at a restaurant that's full of all these weird ingredients. It's got a weird name and everything, but you see everyone drinking it and everyone really enjoys it. And you're trying to figure out, like, okay, well, who made this? And everyone's reply is, don't you know?
Yeah.
Well, where this bourbon came from that's in this, I can tell it's a mule drink that you're drinking. Well, where did these come from? Well, and and you've been to this bar before, Doug. You should know where this came from. Well, no, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell me? Well, no, we're not going to tell you. It's like, well, fuck all of you then. Okay, that's kind of what I'm treating NXT like right now. Okay, is there too many people coming in? It reminds me of TNA a lot.
It does. It does. Yeah.
To where, oh, look who's here. Oh, look who's here. It's Drew McIntyre. It's this guy. Or it's some other people. Like, I know some people, but I don't know everybody. Okay, and I need to be reintroduced or introduced to everybody. That's what this is. This is your indie promotion. This is your minor leagues.
Torqueman has a great line in the chat right now. He says, don't be a snob when I'm actually showing a little interest. That is a wonderful way to put that. Good job.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what happens. People get a little snobby, and you're like, hold on a second. I'm just kind of sampling this, and then...
And it's like that in any form of entertainment or any kind of group or anything that you join, is that you find those people, those just snobs happens. That are, damn it, I'm showing interest. I want to join you guys. Why don't you want me here?
They're elitists. which we've been accused of being elitist. But yeah,
well, no, we're just correct. Okay,
we're just right. We're just truth tellers here on Wrestleview.
Yeah, that's all we
There's
are.
a big difference, exactly. So yeah, do you want to let's get a final total on thoughts on the pay-per-view. Let me do a refresh just in case I missed anybody. So we do this every time there's a pay-per-view on the @Wrestleview Twitter account. We ask, what did you think of the show? 60% have given it a thumbs up, 23% in the middle. So
by the way, if you do thumbs in the middle, then you're not a professional wrestling fan.
I do it all the time, Doug. I gave TakeOver a thumbs in the middle last night. There was a guy that actually replied last night when I put that poll up. He goes, thumbs in the middle? What do you mean? And I'm like, what? You don't understand? He's like, this was 100% a thumbs up show. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. You can just vote. You don't have to tell me. But I would give tonight a thumbs up. I thought it was a good show. I enjoyed myself.
Absolutely a thumbs up. Absolutely a thumbs up.
I wasn't angry or mad or anything like that.
I'm not angry or mad with how anyone else would vote, except if it were thumbs in the middle, then I'd call you just indecisive.
Houston Wrestling Radio says the empty seats at WarGames was because the tickets went on sale 6 weeks ago. I was kind of curious about that. If there was a lack of interest in that ticket, because usually the big selling of all the TakeOver shows is it's sold out. We're selling out big arenas. Saw a lot of empty seats in that arena last night. Ring of Honor was also running a competing show the same night. And I think that show sold out, so they probably took about maybe 1,000 people away from NXT, possibly. So I don't know if it's indicative of the product right now. People are just less interested in NXT. Do you think we already hit at peak NXT a year ago, and then when all that talent was migrated to the main roster, it's just not? Because remember there was that boom that hit with NXT, and then it just kind of I don't know, maybe it's fizzling out a little bit.
I don't know if it's fizzling out. It's just the mass exodus is definitely to blame for the lack of interest. But if they're wanting to bring the interest of NXT back up, it's not necessarily – I don't think it's necessarily from bringing in critters that I don't know into the fold. I think it's actually bringing people down from the main roster into NXT.
Oh, that's an interesting concept.
Okay, I think that's going to be happening sooner rather than later.
Okay.
I think you'll see a lot of names from the main roster not coming back to NXT, but maybe just going to NXT. You know? I mean, who knows? You may see Heath Slater and Rhino show up.
That could be interesting. I'd be okay with that. Maybe kind of help out some talent, and I'd be cool with that.
You could see Titus Worldwide show up saying that they're trying to find their next client.
Sure.
You know, stuff like that.
I'd be cool with that.
And it would be it would totally be refreshing.
Yeah.
You know, and it would provide great bridges in between, NXT and the WWE main roster.
Sure.
Because I think that's what's happening right now is because of the mass exodus, you've lost all of those main NXT watchers, and now they're only watching the main roster.
Sure.
But you still want to bring more people to NXT and watch it and pay attention to it. So now you have to, let's just say, put a lane going the other direction, going into NXT to, I think, bring some people back in. I'm not saying that's something they need to do for me, but
I would check it out. I mean, it's incentive to maybe go check it out again if there's somebody that you're aware of, and then they go to that realm, and you're like, oh, I know this person, so I'll see what they do. So and
it's not for a one-off match. Okay?
No,
it's
like
not
that
for a takeover show, and they bring them in to have a match against some guy they're trying to prop up,
like an extended stay. I think that'd be fine. I'd be cool with that. Good idea, Doug. Good job.
Hey, man, I'm a goals-oriented person, even though I never played soccer.
Exactly.
Okay?
There you go. All right, we're going to get the hell out of here. I was looking at the calendar. There is a show on December December the 17th, Clash of Champions. That is I think it's
the Clash of the Belts.
It's a Smackdown show, so they'll have a bunch of title matches for a Smackdown show, so that's in a couple weeks. We also need to start exploring when we're going to do our annual Crimbus show as well, so we got to start making plans for that because it's about that time. James Lasarenza reminded me in our Facebook group, so we will have to...
From what I understand, Santa still has the AIDS.
Courtesy of Tom Van Stone. Thank you, Tom. We have not lived that one down. So yeah, we'll make plans for that, and we'll raise some money and drink some beers and talk some wrestling and have some fun. So that'll be a good time. So we'll definitely be back on the 17th, which is in, Wow, that's in 1, 2, 3. That's in 4 weeks. Wow, there's quite a
love
break
these
there.
breaks.
A lot of breaks. So we'll come back for that, and most likely maybe that same week or the week prior. I don't know. We'll figure out the Crimbus show because they still have to line up schedules with everybody. So, all right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching live. Thank you for all the. I always love when people show up live with us. I never really expect it. I always expect they'll check it out at their own convenience, which obviously a larger portion does, but we always we appreciate that. I like Doug's little smile there to everybody. Doug's little pause. Can we just do a little pause of you doing that smile for like a second? Just a just a nice little like thanks everybody. We appreciate it.
Well, you gotta have that head cocked diagonally.
Yeah, you gotta do the awkward just to see if they're paying attention. We could just stare awkwardly right now and just see at the.
I'll just do that. Oh
yeah, so we just look right at the camera and then we'll make everybody uncomfortable for a few seconds. Just they're not gonna like this very much if we just get really. Doug's getting extra close. I can't quite do that with my setup right now, but. All right, everybody. Let's see. Have a good Thanksgiving coming up if you're American. Do other countries do stuff on Thanksgiving, or that's pretty much?
No, they eat their young.
They eat their young. Well, they already had Thanksgiving in Canada, but I don't know if anybody.
Well, Canada has a head start with us in a lot of things like politeness.
Politeness and healthcare.
Yeah, no, and healthcare. So,
happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. If not, this is just another week for you, and we'll be back in a couple weeks to talk about the Clash of Champions. We have no idea what's happening on that, but we'll be here.
All I know is it better be Rusev Day. That's all I care.
It very well could be Rusev
better
Day.
Damn well be Rusev
He's
Day.
on that brand. He's very much on that brand.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you in a couple of weeks. And stay tuned for details on the annual Crimbus show. All right, bye.
Fuck Adam Cole.
Look him up, Doug. Do your research.